But the incredible thing is that he wrote it essentially overnight. And it became the signature cue, not only in our film, but it's been used in trailer after trailer after trailer. I think it's one of the most used cues for any kind of action trailer to this day.
I'm glad it all works. You know, you always remember a little bit what it took to get there, and it's difficult, but it's water under the bridge. I think that both of us felt after Aliens that life was too short for the films he wanted to make on the schedules he wanted to work under. And the way I worked, I needed more time. He wanted a lot of control and didn't have a lot of time on the way he was working. And I think we both felt life was too short to have these conflicts. And I only wanted the best score for him. And we sort of parted after that. It was very difficult, just again because of the time and because we're both perfectionists. Well, years have gone by now since I last worked with Jim. I heard about this project, Titanic. I love the story, and I had done Braveheart by this point, and it was something that I felt I could tell this particular story very well. I thought this was me. I could do this. I mean, it was perfect. It wasn't the Terminator things, or it was a real story that I could tell and be sensitive, not just all action. It so happens that Jim had also been thinking about me. He loved Braveheart, loved the score, and he said it was his favorite score, and he had been playing it a lot. And we both sort of approached each other to have a meeting over Titanic. And I begged him to do it, basically. And he said, okay, you got it. We met for like 3 hours in his office. It was a great, great meeting. It was just like 5 minutes of getting rid of history and the rest all just sort of talking about this movie, which we were both in love with. It makes me feel so crazy when I can't give perfection because of some stupid superimposed schedule that has nothing to do with the filmmakers. It has only to do with marketing department. And it's so difficult sometimes. And you have to be very clever to work around that.
Not bad for it.
Aliens was very early on in my career. Titanic wasn't. And you mellow with age. I think Jim's mellowed, and I've certainly mellowed. And that all helps the process.
Shoot it out!
Aliens was a tight schedule, and in order to meet that schedule, with any of the delays that came across because of picture changes or waiting for special effects shots, and the fact that the music did need a certain amount of manipulation, we in fact ran a night shift here, and a colleague, mixer Otto Snell, pre-mixed all the music at night so that we could have a fair chance of it in the daytime. Composers, like everybody else who has an input to the film, really want to support their side there, and music is a very important part of the soundtrack, but it's not the most important part of the soundtrack. And there's as much tension or dramatic effect can be gained from the music stopping as the music starting. And if the music continues all the way through, you lose those stops and starts.
Music can create a sense of dread, obviously, we all know that, and that has to be put in certain subtle ways so that you don't feel like you're being told to be afraid. Because you can't be told to be afraid, you can't be ordered to be afraid. You can only have that feeling that you're already having slightly heightened. by the musical experience. I think what's more important is the sound effects, the sense that you can hear every little sound. So the mix can be made to simulate that state of hyper-awareness that you get when your adrenal glands kick in, when you're on alert, when you're in a dark room, when you're in a strange place. Your senses all are functioning at 110% or 150% of their normal level. So all the little tiny minute sounds become louder. And so I think you kind of simulate that with the mix of the movie, and you're simulating a physiological experience that people recognize from their own lives.
Hold up!
We discussed at great length the necessity to maintain light and shade in a soundtrack. It's all too easy to smother a soundtrack in continuous loud level, and we were very concerned that we should manipulate it so that it went through a series of like sawtooths where there were actual quiet patches before we hit each loud sound.
Help!
What?
Tom, get over here! We got a live one! Where are you? Can you hear me?
When they were chasing, looking for Newt, the small 4 or 5 frames where they find her under the grill and her fingers come through.
Newt, are you okay?
We're down to a very, very low level of sound. That gives us the chance to take off again at high level, and for that to then be impressive because of the quiet patch. I remember one occasion when we were waiting for a special effects shot, which I think was the dropship flying into the planet, and it was just on the screen as a scene missing, and we were at the point where we should be premixing this, and Jim said, "Oh, I know where it goes," and he picked up a broom and he ran down to the screen and he said, held the broom up in the air, "Follow this," and we panned the sound effects for the dropship across the screen and around as he was running in front of the screen with the broom, and of course it was perfect. At the time, there were many people knocking Jim Cameron for seeking perfection and giving everybody a hard time. But time has proved he was right. He's gone on to produce a string of box office successes based on the same principle.